We're 3 minutes late. I think we should start and let her pop in when she comes.
Okay, so Ray, then her motions you'll pick up.
Yeah,
Okay?
I'll pick up if she's not here in time.
Yep.
No problem. Okay, this is Supervisor Oberly. I'd like to call the regular town board meeting of April 14th, 2020 to order. We will dispense with the pledge to the flag since we're on Zoom. We have no communal flag between us. And we'll start right off with the approval of minutes. And it'll be a little different this time because I'm going to have to roll call vote to find out who votes because I can't hear them individually and they're a little harder to hear. So in approval of minutes, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 10th, 2020 public hearing ag events law. Is there a second?
Michael, second.
Okay, now roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Chris?
Aye.
Dean?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Nancy is absent. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 10th, 2020 public hearing, STR, which means short-term rental law. Is there a second?
Michael, second.
Now we'll do a vote again, roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Chris?
Aye.
Dean?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Nancy is absent. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 10th, 2020 regular town board meeting. Is there a second?
Michael, second.
Roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Chris?
Aye.
Dean?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Nancy is absent. Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 27th, 2020 special executive session meeting. Is there a second?
Second, Chris Giuliano.
Okay. Roll call. Ray, aye. Chris?
Aye.
Dean?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Nancy, she's absent. Motion carried. Now we'll go into supervisor's comments. This is a reminder that the town complex is still closed for walk-ins. The staff will be working from home if possible and/or occasionally in the office. To contact the staff, send an email, phone call, or mail them a letter. The highway crew is working half-staff on alternate weeks to do road maintenance and remove trees blocking the roads due to the recent windstorm. Court is also closed, but if you got a vehicle and traffic ticket, you can mail your fine monies to the court for processing. Grievance day is still on schedule for May 20th, with a tentative assessment roll being available on May 1st. There are no details on how this day will be conducted. Only Governor Cuomo can change the grievance date. This is a 2020 census reminder that you should have received a mailing from the census organization with your personal ID number that is to be used to complete your census information by online, telephone, or paper form. To date, slightly less than 50% of the people in Dutchess County have completed the census registration. Due to the COVID-19 virus, the census schedule has been delayed. On April 8th, 2020, the Census Bureau started mailing out questionnaires to those residents who have not replied yet. On June 1st, 2020, they hope to have census taking personnel start to track down the people who have not completed their census registration. Please make every effort to register for the census, since much of New York State and Dutchess County funds are distributed by the federal government on the basis of population collected during the census. The trash recycling collection will be discussed as an agenda item later. The town encourages its residents to sign up for the free electronic email service MailChimp so they can quickly get information on activities and other information directly. No waiting for the newspaper to come, mail to arrive, or having to search the internet or town's webpage for information. To quickly sign up, go to the town's webpage, www.town.gov, townofclinton.com. And in the upper right side, top line, click on subscribe and fill out the requested information. During the time of COVID-19, the information many times changes weekly and sometimes daily. This way, you'll be quickly informed of the changes. Due to the COVID-19 virus pandemic, the recreation parks are closed for these types of activities. You cannot have social gatherings, birthday, graduation, company, etc., parties, and group activities, baseball, soccer, volleyball, etc. You may walk, jog, and sit and observe nature, but you must maintain the social distance of 6 feet between people during your activities. You should also be wearing a face mask since you are out in public areas. The parks are Francis Mark Park, Clinton Hollow Road, County Route 18, Friends Park, Salt Point Turnpike, County Route 17, and Girls Little League Ball Field at Town Complex Center Road, County Route 18. The Hudson Valley Energy Organization will be holding an informational meeting on Wednesday, May 6th at 7 p.m. It will be conducted live electronically on the internet on WebEx, so the Clinton residents can see and hear the PowerPoint presentation and then ask questions. The organization is sending out a mailer this week with all the details for the presentation and the services they are providing to reduce the residents' electricity costs and also by using renewable energy sources. The presentation will later be posted on the town's webpage. Old business is none. And then we hit new business. First item in new business is approval of Justice Brand's request for unpaid leave. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approve Town Justice James Brand's request to go on unpaid leave effective March 14, 2020, while the Justice Court is closed due to the COVID-19 virus. Is there a second?
E. Michaels, second.
Okay, we were down there. Roll call vote.
No, wait, we need to have further discussion on it.
Oh, you want further discussion?
Yeah, I really appreciate Justice Brand's making this offer, but it turns out that I don't think it's constitutional under the New York State Constitution. We are not allowed to, like, I looked up the, what is it called? The Justice Court Manual. And
Yeah.
It says that while compensation of non-judicial staff may be adjusted from time to time, the compensation of a justice may not be reduced during his or her term in office. And so I thought, well, maybe we're not reducing his compensation because it's a leave of absence. But if you look at the email that Judge Brand sent us explaining it, he is still going to be working. He's going to be signing warrants and he's going to be issuing fines for people who plead guilty to tickets. So by New York State Constitution, we're not allowed to lower his salary.
I talked personally with him and asked what he'll be doing, and he says he's not doing anything.
Okay, well, his email to us says, although
Right.
court is not in session, I'm still available to sign warrants and set fines where people are sending their traffic tickets. In essence, the town is still covered by Judge Seelbach and myself. I just think, I mean, I appreciate his offer, and he is more than welcome, obviously, anybody is, to donate money to the town at this point. But by the New York State Constitution, we're not allowed to lower a justice's salary midterm.
No, that's not necessarily true. We can reduce salaries of any elected official by enacting a local law.
Except during the middle of a term for an elected justice. No justice is allowed to have their salary reduced in the middle of a term.
Okay, but
And
that,
it explains,
Okay.
these constitutional guarantees seek to protect judicial independence from undue intrusion, manipulation, or pressure from the executive or legislative branches of the government. They're basically saying that us as the legislative branch shouldn't have the power to change his salary because then it could have influence on him. Or any
Well,
judge.
let me ask you something,
I was
Michael.
gonna say who.
Is the case that he's requesting it himself personally, it's not like we're saying we're gonna not pay you because we're not doing anything. He's coming as a request saying
Yeah.
him personally putting in a letter for that. Does that change in the way that you read that at all?
Well, I mean, as I said, I completely, I respect his request. I wish we could do it, but I don't think it matters how it would happen. The New York State Constitution, I mean, I can tell you it's Article 6, Section 25A. We're not allowed to reduce salaries of justices in the middle of a term.
So, so basically, the only way that we could do it is he would have to agree not to work.
I don't, well, then that was the other problem is I looked for anything regarding leave of absences, and there was nothing regarding that. Because if it is an actual leave of absence where he's not working at all, I don't know if that's allowed or not. Because I couldn't find anything in the state constitution or in the New York State Justice Manual. Because this shows up in both of those things about lowering compensation. I think the path to go is that, you know, anybody is allowed to, like, he can take his check and after taxes donate to the town whatever he wants. And anybody can do that. And I think that's the route to go because we are still going to need him to sign warrants and do things like that.
The only thing I knew he was signing was once a month a check, you know, because he has the checking account. That's all he has. Nobody else can sign that checking account.
Yeah, I mean, law enforcement still happens. If there's a warrant or something that he has to sign, or Justice Seelbach, they're both available to do that. I'm just saying we can't reduce salaries. I mean, that's my vote.
So in essence, we either have to put this on abeyance, do more research and see if it's right, or can't do it.
Yeah, I think
Those are
at
the
the
two
very least,
options.
I think at the very least, we need to check with Shane on this.
Yeah, I didn't find a problem, so that's why I wasn't worried. But you're citing another section of the law, and I don't know that one.
Yeah, so if you go to nycourts.gov, you can find what's called the Justice Court Manual, and on page 27 is where it says it.
Okay.
And it references constitutional guarantees, so I went to the New York State Constitution to see where it showed up there, and it was Article 6, Section 25A.
That being the case, without further research that we can do at the moment, I think we should just leave the motion open and redo it next month. Do we have consensus on that?
Yes, Dean Michael.
Okay, Chris?
Yes, for Chris Giuliano. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
And
for Michael.
Okay. So we'll just hold the thing in abeyance for next month, and unless we have another meeting in between where we could, you know, just tuck it in, but just so we don't forget it. Okay, the next item is approved garbage disposal on April 18th at transfer station. Chris?
Okay, so before we go into the motion, I think we all have had some sort of contact with residents regarding garbage, and so I personally spoke to Welsh Sanitation regarding this and trying to see if we can get it back into town. After speaking to Welsh Sanitation, they're pretty steadfast on not having their employees on, including the use of their truck and the guys. So we were able to work out a plan for this week. We can have discussion on if we're going to extend it for future weeks. Right now, the talk from talking to Scott over at Welsh Sanitation, myself and Todd have spoken to him regarding this. They're estimating about a month at this point before they bring it back, tentatively. So for this week, we know there's people that have a whole bunch of garbage building up. It's a public safety issue and health issue. What they want to do is it's $195 haul fee to bring the dumpster to and from the town hall, and it's $110 a ton per garbage. So Todd and I try to figure out approximately how many tons and came up with a number to tentatively approve for this week. The residents basically will, we'd have a few volunteers, so it's not going to cost the town any money as far as paying another employee to be there at this point. Todd, myself, Melissa, with Melissa's Todd's secretary, with the highway superintendent, and I think Michael, you said you were going to be available for Saturday as well.
Yeah.
We're going to donate our time. Herbie, who usually helps out with the guys over well sanitation, I understand he's going to be there. He understands how the system works. So there'll be some additional help as far as that goes as well. But no further salaries are going to be paid through the town with this. Basically the charge, the cost that we want to approve tonight would be for $900 up not to exceed $900. I do think we should figure out something for the next couple of weeks, either every other week for the time being, to do something similar on this. I think we got to use this week as a tentative way, see how much it actually costs the town at the end of the day, because I mean the regular fees currently would be the same. Would be $4 for a 30-gallon garbage bag, $5 for the contractor bag, and the recyclables are free to dispose with garbage. Without the garbage, the recyclables are $2. And these are the current charges that have been, with the transfer station for several years now. We'd have to figure out how much that works out and where we end up being, but I think it's a good gesture to our town members to be able to offer that to them as far as that goes. Anyone got anything to add to anything that they heard personally from anyone?
Michael Whitten, my only question is, so the $900, does that get offset by the fees getting collected, or do all
That's
those
correct.
fees, all right, so that gets offset and then any excess goes to Welsh, or goes to
No,
us?
no. So the only thing that we would be paying Welsh is the cost for the hauling fee to and from
On
the town,
ton?
and then whatever the tonnage it would
Okay.
be through. I know from speaking to Scott that they said, because they've been doing this over at Milan, in the town of Milan, the first 2 weeks, from what I understand, is that the town didn't charge residents. The problem was the fees, because the first couple of weeks, there's a lot of people bringing a lot of garbage in, and it was it was beyond the cost. So then they ended up starting to charge for that, and this is pretty much, I think, what the consensus is, what some of the towns are doing. I did make it clear to Scott, because I know a conversation that Dean brought up, he brought up a good point, is Wells potentially wanting to do this in the future as a way and try to back out of the original agreement. I made it clear to Scott this would be a short-term remedy. It's not something that we're looking to do long-term. And then there's other things as we get out of this mess that we're in right now, that possible other options we can deal with. But right now, this is for a one-time use for this particular Saturday coming up. The other thing I want to make the residents understand, we do have the scenic road cleanup coming out. So we do have another 30-yard dumpster, which is going to be behind the fence at the highway department. This is strictly for roadside cleanup. So it's not for garbage, household trash items to be put in that. That's a whole different separate deal with Welsh Sanitation that we had previously to this. So anything else that we're gonna have a separate dumpster for. And I mean, if that's good, I'll make the motion, and then we can, discuss down the road for future events. But I definitely think either we should, if this goes off fairly well, I think either at least every other week, maybe, to do this, give them a chance to have somewhere to, be able to dispose of their trash. There is, I just want to also say this before we do this as well. There is the option for town residents, if they have to get their garbage somewhere before, well sanitation transfer station at 1955 Route 22 Wingdale. Their hours are 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. And basically the costs are about the same as what we would be normally charging the town residents when they come to do their trash delivery at the transfer station. So I'll make the motion, I guess, to get this in for this Saturday. I'd like to make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approve providing a household garbage dumpster and recycling at a cost not to exceed $900, available to residents at the town hall transfer station location on April 18th, 2020. That's this coming Saturday from 7:30 a.m. to noon for the contracted garbage disposal rates. And these exact changes is requested since we're trying to keep distance, and we're going to have set up so it's a safe environment for anyone to come. We're going to request that we're going to say a minimum 6 feet away. We're going to have it pretty organized, so it may take a little bit longer going through, but we have a system. And again,
No, wait. Let's finish the resolution, not do a discussion of the resolution.
okay, all right. So finish the resolution from 7:30 a.m. to noon for the contracted garbage disposal rates, and these are the current rates that we spoke about. $4 for a 30-gallon garbage bag, $5 for a contractor bag. Recyclables are free to dispose with the payment of garbage, and $2 without garbage disposal. Is there a second?
Second, Dean Michael.
Okay,
Discussion?
now is there any further discussion?
No.
Okay, then I'll do the roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Cunningham.
Aye.
Motion carried, all aye. Thank you. Okay, the next item is approve extension to library lease agreement.
Yeah, so as you all know, Dean and I have been meeting with the library trustees to work out the new lease, and we had a session where we all were able to discuss it and agreed on it. Unfortunately, during this health crisis, the library trustees, they're using a different way to have virtual meetings than we are, and currently they don't have a method for executive sessions. So they haven't been able to discuss the new library lease amongst themselves. And my concern was that we don't meet again until the second week of May, and this lease is up on May 13th. So I asked Shane if he could write up a resolution to just extend it month to month until the health crisis is over, so that once they get the chance to have their executive session, we can finally approve the lease. But we would just go month to month under the current agreement until that time. So I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approve resolution number 15 of 2020, whereby the town agrees to continue the current lease arrangement with the library month to month. Such term shall expire 30 days after the expiration of Executive Order 202.1, which temporarily suspends certain provisions of New York open meetings law. Do I have a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Okay, any further discussion? Do roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Nancy.
Aye.
Motion carried. All aye. Thank you. Next one is other items, resignations and appointments. Nancy?
Yes, yes, I'd like to make a motion that we hire the building maintenance and ground person. So I'd like to make a motion that the town board approve Eric Sternberg as the building and maintenance ground person for the term of office beginning on April 14th, 2020, at the rate of $25 per hour for 160 hours per year.
Is there a second?
Chris Giuliano, second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a problem, and I've already told Nancy. I says, you know, when you look at the fact that we're paying the cemetery maintenance person at $15 and and we're paying the highway maintenance worker at $13.50, this person's not coming to us with, that much experience that they're employed doing this. They're coming to us as a grounds person working for us as an employee. So I object to the $25.
Well, he's also coming with all his tools needed to do the job, which you wouldn't get with a groundskeeper, like something to cut tiles, spatulas to put plaster down on the walls and stuff like that.
He has,
Obviously, paint and stuff like that, we'd have to pay for.
Nancy Cunningham, he has personal experience. He's not been in that business as a contractor.
Right.
But
The resume does not warrant the
Well-
experience. I've done work myself. So, certainly I probably could do the job, and I'm sure he can do the job. It's just, when you look at what we're paying the other two categories that we're going to be approving tonight at much lower, I just have a problem with it.
Okay, duly noted.
Michael Whitten, I think we're also asking him to do maybe basic electrical and basic plumbing work, which I'm guessing Chris can attest to. It would be a lot more than $25 an hour to have a plumber come in and do that kind of work.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
also gauged, I talked to other possible candidates, and one was very interested in the job and he was a contractor, a retired contractor. And when I talked about the hourly rate, he said he was not interested because they get 2 and 3 times that amount on an hourly rate with the experience. So based on that, and we had budgeted 25 per hour, and based on that, I felt like it was fair. So that's it.
And I mentioned when Nancy and I had a conversation, I insure several contractors, and I know one contractor that works for another contractor. He has his own insurance and everything, and he's only getting $25 an hour. So, I understand it's not, I just have a problem that we're paying the other two people at such a lower rate, and realistically they're really the same.
Well,
Not the scope of the job is the same that the other maintenance guys are doing. They're not doing any roof work, gutter work, plumbing to any extent other than garden hoses attached to faucets and stuff like that. So I
Chris
don't,
can answer the question, but I don't even think anybody could do electric unless they're an electrician, unless you're doing it for yourself.
No, we don't have countywide licensing, so and now we have certain towns and certain municipalities have licensing that requires that. Unfortunately, I'm a fan of
Code
countywide.
was that you can't do electric work for someone else unless you're a licensed electrician.
right.
You could do it for yourself and get the board
Well,
of.
if he has the skills, technically he would be under the town insurance policy at that point. He's a town employee, so if that's what he's being hired on. Personally, I guess my feeling is obviously, if we're going to have someone do that, plumbing and electrical, they should have some sort of background in that. But as far as the budget goes, it was approved previous for that amount. Unless we're going to rechange that through, change the number.
Nancy Cunningham, I would also say, from my point of view, that no, he hasn't been in the contractor business. He has a great deal of business skills. However, the variety of things that he's going to have to do require a certain amount of skills. And we have verified that he has those skills. Much more than, and not to belittle the groundskeepers on the cemetery or in the park, but there's a limited amount of skills they need to do that job versus this. So I just feel like this is the right thing to do. Okay?
yeah.
Okay?
Okay, we done with the discussion? Ready to
I
vote?
would say, well, before we say vote, I would say, we give him a chance, see what he can do. I mean, he'd be on probation, right? Wouldn't he, for?
Everybody's on probation.
Yeah, that's my point. So, and see, if he's able to do the stuff safely, obviously safety is always the utmost importance, especially with working with any of the construction fields. So.
And I will point out something. We've been waiting to have the work needs to be done by this individual. We've been waiting for 2 years, okay? Because we didn't have anybody last year either. So it's needed, okay?
Okay, let's vote. Roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Michael,
Nay.
Nancy.
Aye.
Motion carried. 4 ayes, 1 nay. Cemetery maintenance.
Okay, I make a motion to appoint Ryan Mackin as cemetery maintenance person for 24 hours per week with a term of office beginning May 1st, 2020, at a rate of pay of $15 per hour for 25 weeks.
Is there a second?
Michael, second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Cunningham.
Aye.
Motion carried, all ayes.
And the last one is the highway maintenance worker, which is a summer hire. I make a motion that the board approve Shane Empert as the summer hire maintenance worker for 30 hours per week with the term of office beginning on May 1st, 2020 at the rate of $13.50 per hour for 16 weeks.
Is there a second?
Michael, aye.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Nancy.
Aye.
All aye, motion carried. Okay, warrant.
Michael
Approval.
makes a motion, be it resolved that the town board approves the April general fund warrant vouchers number 139 through 183 totaling $26,331.46, and the April highway fund warrant vouchers number 72 through 92 totaling $49,818.36.
Is there a second?
Witten, second.
Giuliano, second.
Okay. Further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Cunningham.
Aye.
All aye, motion carried. Next one is move funds. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the resolution number 16 of 2020, a motion to move funds at the April 14th, 2020 town board meeting. Is there a second?
Michael, aye.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
no, well, I gotta do the roll call vote, my mistake. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Cunningham,
Aye.
all aye, motion carried. Supervisors report. The March 2020 supervisors report will be approved when the 2019 books are reconciled. So we do have a draft, but it's not a final version. At this time, unless there's something pressing that somebody else has, I'll adjourn the meeting.
Just to mention that I emailed everybody this afternoon the final markup of the highway contract, labor union contract. It's everything that we asked for changes, so it's all done. Shane gave its final approval. So I just need you, Ray, to sign off on it and get Mike Holloway to sign it and get a copy back to the union.
Okay, I didn't see it yet, so.
Yeah, I
don't
just
know
did
what
it this
says.
afternoon because I just got
Okay. I'll look at it and go forward with that.
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn the town board meeting. Is there a second?
Michael is a second.
Roll call, Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Cunningham,
Aye.
all aye. Motion carried. The meeting is adjourned.
Have a good
Thank you
day.
all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.